Welcome to After the Call, the podcast dedicated to the stories and struggles behind the badge, the turnout gear, and the uniform. Each week, we'll bring you a powerful conversations with first responders, mental health professionals, and advocates who are breaking the stigma, sharing their journeys, and offering real solutions. We'll talk about PTSD resilience, family impact, and the resources that can make a difference. Because the job doesn't just leave scars on the body, it affects the mind, the heart, and the people who serve alongside us. And no one should have to carry that burden alone. This is After the Call, where you'll find strength through resilience.
All right, welcome to another episode of After the Call. I'm your host, Patrick, joined with
Veronica.
And we have Alia today.
Hello, everyone.
And I met you actually through my wife, through a women's group, or Bunko.
Yeah, it's a Bunko.
Bunko group, whatever. But she was telling me about your business, and I thought it was super cool. So then you invited us over, which was awesome. And I got to try out some of the amazing treatments, which we will go over today.
Okay.
But let's first start with your background and kind of what brought you into this circle, because you do have a very unique story.
So my background. So I am we're originally from Canada. That's where we're from. We started off wanting to move to the U.S., but that was put on the back burner because my husband was not ready to do that. I got really, really sick I think it was 2018. I got really sick to the point where I was misdiagnosed 4 times. And then on the 4th time, they figured out what was wrong with me, and I was hospitalized, and I almost died.
Do you want to say where you got sick at?
I went to Great Wolf Lodge.
What?
Yeah, right. So I went to Great Wolf Lodge and I picked up some virus, and I came home and it started off with just a sore throat, and I was like, oh, it's nothing probably and whatever. And I just kind of took some over-the-counter medicine, and then I wasn't feeling better. Within a couple of days, it started to like really ramp up, and so I went to my doctor's clinic, and my doctor was in there, and they just looked at my throat and they're like, oh, you have strep. So they put me on antibiotics, and within like 24 hours you start feeling better with the antibiotics, and that didn't happen for me. It just got progressively worse. Then I went back again, but this time I went to a walk-in clinic because my doctor's office was closed. This was on a Sunday, right? Yeah, Sunday. And I was told that it wasn't strep, that it was some viral thing, and I need to get off the medication. So I got off the medication, and it got progressively worse from there. And the 3rd time I went to the hospital, and I went in, and they're like, they did a whole bunch of tests on me. Actually, I can't, say that they're horrible because they're not really that bad. And they did find something, but they didn't probe into it any further, and they just said it's an infection and we're going to put you back on antibiotics. So they put me back on antibiotics. Like, it was just a shit show. And from there it got even worse, to the point where I was losing all my control over my muscles. I wasn't able to get up. My husband had to put my pants on, which is so embarrassing, but that's the point that I was at. I lost my voice. I couldn't breathe through my mouth anymore. And then my girlfriend, she forced me to go back to the hospital. So I went back to the same hospital, and that's where they, and initially at triage, they dismissed all my symptoms. So I wasn't able to breathe through my mouth. And then my resting heart rate was 158. And they dismissed me. And I sat for 4.5 hours before I was even seen by anyone. And then I was seen by a physician assistant, and she just kind of was like, what are you doing here? We see in your file that you were here. And my friend lost it on them. And then she took my vitals, and she's like, 1 second, I'll be right back. She literally came in with a wheelchair. They threw me on the wheelchair, took me up to imaging. And when I came back down, the nurse's station was like right in front of me where I was getting my IV fluids. And they called a code, and all these doctors and nurses and everybody came in, and they tried to figure out what was wrong with me. And then they figured out I had viral thyroiditis.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and apparently getting that is a lot more rare than you think it is.
Apparently not at Wolf Lodge.
Yeah. So, but they wouldn't. But you know what the funny thing is, that they wouldn't test to see what virus that I had gotten. Like, this is pre-COVID, right? Nobody cared then. Mm-hmm. But it was something that had attacked my thyroids. So anyways, they hospitalized me because my heart rate was so high they couldn't regulate my heart rate, and then they started me on medication. I was put on thyroid medication and heart medication, and I had to stay at the hospital until I was seen by an endocrinologist. And anyways, when she came to see me, she's like, at this point we don't know what the damage is to your thyroids, because allegedly there was a tear on my thyroids, which I don't even know how that is a possibility, but that had happened. I don't know either. I'm not a medical person. So I was discharged. Then I went back to see her 8 weeks later, but in between that, I had found a holistic practitioner who helped me with holistic medicines to get me off of the medication that I was going to be on for the rest of my life, apparently. And when I went back to see her, she was like, your numbers all came back normal, and we're gonna take you off your meds for the next, I think it was 4 weeks, and I want you to come back and then we'll figure it out from there. And when I went back, she's like, nope, you're good to go. Like, they took me off my heart medication, my thyroid medication, and that was it. That was the end of it. And I remember coming out of the hospital and I was like, this cannot be my life. I'm only like 41 and 40. I was like 41. I was like, this cannot be the rest of my life. I cannot be on medication, heart medication. I'm so young. I mean, I thought I was anyways. I mean, I'm still 25, but so that's where my whole journey with holistic healing really began. Prior to that, we had been a holistic family. We really tried not to go to the doctors as often as most people would, but still, you know, going the medicine route when we were sick, because, you know, you're not feeling well, you go see a doctor. But from there, everything changed for us, where we started to see things in a different light. So that's really, my friend Jan always says, he's like, the beginning of Tinted Salt is like the rising of the phoenix, like from something that actually died, something beautiful grew from it, right? So yeah, that's my story. That's how I came into light with holistic healings. So I saw an iridologist. She would look through the iris of the eye through a magnifying glass. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not. So iridology here in the US is done through ophthalmologists, but in Canada it's a holistic practice. Yeah. I'm sure it's called something else here, but she could look through the iris of the eye and see where there's like discrepancies in your body, and it's pretty cool. Wow. So she became our quote unquote family physician. So anything that was wrong with us, we would just be like, let's call Carla, let's go see Carla, and then that's how everything began.
I think it's great. I mean, they throw too much medication at people.
Yeah, everything is
medication.
Yeah. They didn't want to know what was wrong with me. They were like, oh, here's some medicine. Just go home. You'll be on this for the rest of your life. Where on the other side, she was like, oh, let's try some holistic, Chinese herbal medicines and see if we can get you off of this. She never said, get off of this. I don't want you taking this. She was like, that's not my place. That's not what I do. Mm-hmm. I want to go to the root cause, and I want to fix that so that you don't need this anymore. Western medicine is great for an emergency, right? Like, you break a bone, you fall down, you're bleeding, you're cut, you need stitches, you need x-rays. It's great for all of that. But let's figure out why all of those things happen.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
Yeah.
All right. So with the holistic treatments that you did, I know what you have within Tinted Salt. Mm-hmm. Were you doing any of those things to help you recover? Because I know, obviously, the salt room and stuff, we talked about that a lot, and we'll dive more into it a little bit. But I didn't know if that's something that started your journey, and that's what brought you into that.
So not necessarily those particular services that we offer right now. Those all came into effect through COVID, right? So as ugly as COVID was, it also opened our eyes to a lot of things. During COVID, we pulled our kids from school. So we were homeschooling the kids. And during COVID, it's controversial, but we decided not to vaccinate our children. So our kids were not allowed back in school. And we started homeschooling them. And during our homeschooling, we met other families. And then we needed to find things for the children to do that was educational, as well as going down that, again, holistic way of life, right? So we stumbled upon the salt room. We found a salt cave near where we lived, and we started taking the kids to the salt room. And after the first session, we didn't really like put 2 and 2 together, but the kids were just better. Like, we had, between the families, we had 12 kids, and there was less bickering, there was less arguing, you know. We didn't think much of it. Then we take them back again, and we noticed the same thing. And in between, they're assholes. But while they're at Tinted Salt, the Tinted Salt, while they're in the salt room, they're better children. And so when we approached the facilitator there, and she's like, well, yeah, of course they're going to be better behaved because they're getting more oxygen. We're like, what are you talking about? They're getting more oxygen. They're sitting in a salt room. How does that give you more oxygen? Right. And so she explained it to us, and then we started to dig a little bit deeper into it, and we realized that like salt mine workers, so studies are showing now that,
oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. All these alarms on my phone now.
That's okay.
Means I'm supposed to do
sorry.
something. Means I'm supposed to do something, but that's not today.
No, not today. What was I saying? Oh my god.
So you were talking about the more oxygen.
Oh, okay. So studies show that salt mine workers had a longer life expectancy, less illnesses than their peers from the same town. And further studies show that it's because they're breathing in the salt. Salt's going into the lungs. It's pushing those lungs open and close. So their lungs are getting exercised. Now their lungs are able to hold a little extra oxygen. That little bit extra oxygen, their cells, their organs, their muscles, everything's working better. So yeah, of course they're going to have a better life than their peers who are not working in the salt caves, right? So we were like, oh. And so I remember coming home from that appointment, and I was like, Steve, I would like us to build a salt room. He's like, lady, sit down. Like, we're not building a salt room. I'm like, no, wouldn't it be so cool? Like, if we could have this like beautiful holistic center and it would have a salt room. And he's like, oh my God. He's like, you're crazy, right? Like you are in that case. But that's the beauty of us. I'm the Scorpio, he's the Libra. Everything is like a balance. And I'm like, let's go, turn the car on, don't look back, drive fast. So anyways, that's where the salt room came in. So when we decided that we wanted to move to the US, we were going to really start this beautiful holistic healing center. And the salt room was at the top of the list, and hence the name Tinted Salt. So we started off with Tinted Salt, and then we are like, okay, now what other modalities can we bring in that will be a benefit to everyone, not just us? And that's when we actually stumbled upon the harmonic egg. So our youngest one, who is, I think God dealt me a joker in life, and that was her. He's like, I'm going to give you this one because she's going to challenge you.
Is this payback for anything? Like you growing up, were you mean to your parents?
No.
Never.
And you know what? My sister and I always ask my mom about this, and she's like, no, you guys were actually pretty decent kids. And we really were in comparison to our friends. Like, we were really good kids. But anyways, she had an injury during a basketball game, and for a period of about maybe a month and a half, every now and then, Mom, my arm hurts. So we took her in for x-rays. It was already too long after the injury. They couldn't do x-rays, so they did an MRI. Despite everything in me to not get that MRI done, I was like, we need to know if there's a fracture. So anyways, we did it, and it came back, no, there's nothing wrong with her. She's perfectly fine. But over the year, she constantly complained about this pain in her arm. And every now and again, she would just hold her arm, and she'd be like, it hurts so bad, and tears are falling down her face. And we're like, well, it must actually really hurt. Like, she's crying. And then 2 days later, she's doing cartwheels. And I'm like, what is going on? So something wasn't working. A friend of mine had been to a harmonic egg, and she's like, why don't you guys take her to the harmonic egg? So we looked it up, and we're like, this looks kind of interesting. It's like right up our way of thinking. Let's take her in. So we took her in, and we literally put her in one session, She wouldn't let us close the door completely. And you know what I mean by close the door. So these doors need to be completely closed in order for that geometric shape to be full. She wouldn't let us close the door.
When you think of an egg, it's an egg.
Yeah.
Like fully enclosed egg.
Yeah. And we had one session for her in there. She came home, and over the next month, Steve and I noticed that she hasn't complained about her arm. And we didn't want to bring it up, so we just kind of like keep an eye on her. Now it's 2 months. Now that I'm speaking to you guys, it's 2.5 years later. So something was off, and we needed to fix that for her, and that happened through sound and light frequency, which is what the harmonic egg is. And we're like, okay, so we need to add the harmonic egg into our repertoire of things. And then we're like, okay, well, the harmonic egg can't be for everyone because it is an enclosed space. So, you know, people that are in wheelchairs or walkers, they can't really actually get into the harmonic egg unless they have help. And most of the time they don't have the help with them. And then we have neurodivergent people that come in, and we also have people that are claustrophobic. They can't sit in an enclosed environment. You know, so we're like, we need an alternative to this. We need something that would ultimately get us to that end result that the harmonic egg gives, maybe in more sessions, but something that everybody can use. So that's where the vibroacoustic therapy beds came in. Steve tried them out, and he's like, you got to try these, man. These are like the best things in the world. He's like, I don't know, maybe we should just do this. And I'm like, no, we should do both of them. So that's where we decided to come in with the vibroacoustic therapy beds. So those beds are vibration beds. They have speakers built inside the bed. You're listening to the music over a set of headphones, and the bed vibrates to that music. You've experienced it. Tell us a little bit about your experience.
So I lay down on this like kind of curved bed, and you can feel it kind of vibrating, just pulsing or whatever. And then Steve asked me what kind of music I want to listen to, and I was like, well, let's deal with grief. Why not? So put in the music. So I'm listening to all the stuff. I'm kind of laying on this curved bed, and it starts out pretty slow. You hear some drums, you hear sound bowls and stuff like that. And it's playing all different angles and all this other stuff. And I can feel it everywhere. And then it just starts ramping up, and it gets more intense and more intense. And it's not louder. It's just the pace, the amount, the directional, like it's all over the place. And then finally...
Hold on, is that just sound, or is that also in the vibration that you're feeling?
Everything.
Okay.
Yeah, everything. So what you're hearing is exactly what you're feeling.
Okay.
So like you've seen those videos where like, you know, the people are sitting in like the trucks with like the loud speaker systems, and then as soon as it hits, their hair's like going all crazy. Like that's what that's what it feels like. And then my like initially I was thinking about my intentions that we first set for when it started, and as it kept getting faster and faster and louder, like I couldn't focus on the intention anymore. Like my brain would not stop just like jumping all over the place. And I think at some point the music stopped, like the grief music, and then it played just soothing music, like actual music. And that's the point where my brain just shut off completely. Like it went black. So the analogy I liked is if you've seen Stranger Things, when Eleven's in the nothingness, like she's got everything around her, all the chaos, and then it just goes pure blank. That's what my brain did.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So the way I describe it to people when they want to figure, they're like, what do you mean the bed vibrates to the music, to the frequencies? Have you seen that tuning fork being hit over water and the water ripples, right? Well, the tuning fork is at a frequency, right? So let's say it's at note C, right? You hit that tuning fork, the water is now rippling to note C, okay? And so now imagine you're on this bed, the bed is the tuning fork, and you are the water. Our body is mostly water, right? So the frequencies are hitting the bed is vibrating to that frequency of note A, C, E, F sharp, whatever, and your body is rippling to that frequency. So now you're getting both physical and cellular vibration and frequency therapy. Not just hearing it over a set of headphones, but also physically feeling the frequencies. Where in the harmonic egg, you hear the music, you don't feel a vibration per se. I mean, although freaks of nature like me, I sit in there and I'm like, I feel the vibrations, but not everybody does. The harmonic egg, you feel the frequencies on a cellular level, okay? But with the vibroacoustic therapy beds, it happens both physically, cellularly, and also you're listening to it over headphones. It is crazy. And I am glad that you had that experience to be able to talk about it today, because it's important for people to understand. Because I can talk about it, but I sometimes take for granted that this is what I do for a living. So I can't always articulate it to people. And I think, well, you should know what I'm talking about. But it's good.
So would you compare that to like a somatic massage, like release type thing, or a vagal stimulator, that kind of therapy? Because I don't know what it did to me. Like I know I was obviously laying on it and I felt it and everything, but I don't know just the shaking what it did.
So basically, you are living in this heightened state of fight and flight. Okay, what that does, it shakes up your nervous system enough that your body goes from fight and flight to parasympathetic within minutes. So you're in a restorative state. Your nervous system actually takes this deep breath. Okay, now my body can do what it needs to do to heal, right? Mm-hmm. Whether it's psychological, physical, emotional, chronic diseases, whatever it is, because the human body was designed to be able to heal itself. God doesn't make mistakes. We were not a mistake, right? So your body knows what to do, but if you constantly push your nervous system to this heightened fight and flight mode, you can't get there.
Right.
You're so, I mean, rightfully so. It's like trying to keep you alive, but you don't need to live up here. So if you can train the body, which is what we do, train the body to get out of that and come to a parasympathetic state, that's when your body can start to heal. So is it the same as somatic work? In some ways, yeah, it is. Because with that also it takes you out of that fight and flight mode and brings you to a more restorative state, right? So yeah, it is that way as well. But you feel it, with this, you feel it physical with the vibrations.
Yeah, I was trying to just put it into terms so somebody that's watching or listening can kind of understand, than just like picturing me just in this chair.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm trying to give it a better description, I guess.
No, and I think it is great that you had that experience, because if you didn't and I just came here and you'd be like, okay, well, sounds great, but like, how does it work? But now you know how it works. Yeah. You know that you've done it, and it made a shift in your body enough that you started to not think of all the things that were pushing you to that fight and flight mode. Your body just kind of relaxed.
It was a few hours before my brain went back to like normal thinking.
Yeah.
Like I was just like super chill. I think my wife was like, "What is wrong with you?"
And that's what I was going to ask.
No,
after you're done.
No, it was super chill.
So after you're done, immediately after, what's going on with you?
I got a little tired. I needed a nap.
Yeah.
And then the next day, it was just more like I really didn't want to do anything. Just kind of just chill out. I still had energy. It wasn't like I was depleted of anything. It was just I didn't want to really do anything. I just wanted to just be me. Yeah. So it was cool.
And that's what we tell people. For a couple of days afterwards, you just feel kind of like, don't want to go anywhere. I don't want it. Not that you're depressed, not that you're not happy. You're just kind of like, nope, my body just needs to just chill for the next day or two. And then things start to go back to where they were before. Now, when does it change? Right? That was your question. Like, how many sessions do you need for you to see those changes? For everyone's going to be different, but ultimately what we want is cellular memory. Ultimately, that's our goal, right? So you come, you do this session, your body goes from fight and flight to parasympathetic, right? You stay there for about maybe a day or two. Then your body just goes back to what it was before. Then you come back again, you do it again. This time, you might hold it a little bit longer. Session 3, you hold it a bit longer until your body realizes that your brain does not want you up in fight and flight. Your brain wants you in this restorative state. So then your body can actually maintain that state so that you can continue living life like we should normally be living. Everybody shouldn't be up here. We should be right about parasympathetic, right about restorative, right? So it's cellular memory is what we're hoping for. So with every session, like for Steve, he had this trigger finger thing happening, and it came out of nowhere. And I can tell you what it was from. It's stress. He was stressed out about a million things, and so it showed up in his trigger thumb. Acupuncture would go away for a couple of days, would be back. He went through this for about 4.5 months, and to the point where he would get up in the morning and he's like, it takes about now an hour for me to be able to move my thumb. And we're like, okay, well, Tyler went to the harmonic egg. Why don't you go to the harmonic egg now, right? So he did. First session, it held like maybe a day or so. Next week he goes back. Now it's holding a little bit longer. By the 4th session, he had no pain anymore. But he didn't want to stop. He's like, I'm going to do more just so that this doesn't come back. And it's been 2.5 years and it hasn't come back.
Good.
Right? So cellular memory. So every cell, every muscle in your body has memory. You go to the gym, you work out, first week, second week, third week, you're still sore. By the end of the first month, you're like, okay, I'm not sore anymore. By the end of the 3rd month, you're like, oh shoot, like look at those. I got muscles happening, right? Consistency, staying with it. Now, at the end of the 3rd month, if you miss maybe a week or 2, you're not going to lose all your muscle mass, right? So then you go to maintenance. You just maintain it up to the point where then your body is just going to remember to hold that spot for you. That's what we want. Everything we do at Tinted Salt is to reset the autonomic nervous system. And over time, your body should remember how it's supposed to be.
Is there a certain process in which you should do it? Like, should you do the vibration bed first, the egg first, the salt room first? Like, is there a certain method to the madness? Because I know if you do the egg, like you can't do other stuff.
That's right. So with the harmonic egg at Tinted Salt, the only other therapy you can do is the salt room. And the reason for that is the harmonic egg, she's a beast of her own. Her name is Artemis, and she is strong. Okay? Energy work takes time to set and hold. So the way I describe it to people, which I've been told makes more sense, is we're going to make Jell-O. You're an ingredient. The lights we choose, the music, the sound, all the different vibrations, all those are different ingredients. Now we put all of this in this egg, and we've mixed it for 50 minutes. This Jell-O needs 5 days to set. Okay? You go and add more energy work to it, you're going to dilute it. It's going to lose its potency. It's not going to do what we want it to do. Or it's going to have the opposite effect. You're going to put too much in it. Now it's choking it, and it's going to have the opposite effect of what we want. So for the harmonic egg, it's best to just do it once every 5 days. We actually really try to push our clients to push it to every 7 days, because you need that time to reset. Okay? You feel tired afterward. Like you said, you felt tired after the vibration bed. With the harmonic egg, it's even a little bit more intense. You need more naps. Your body is just recuperating. Your body's just like recalibrating. Like, what's happening? Okay, this is what you want me to do, right? All these nerves are firing and telling your brain's telling the nerves, like everything is working. So you need time for all of that to happen. Does that make sense? Do we have a Kleenex? I'm like, it's okay.
Sorry.
We'll survive.
You can use her shirt.
I have one in my purse.
Did you guys learn this through trial and error, or through the research, or like how did you find out that portion of it, to where if you were going to do the egg, don't do anything else?
So the harmonic egg is a company that we purchased the harmonic egg from. They've done extensive research. The creator, her name is Gail. She is an incredible human being. She's done so much research on this, and she, through her research with her own clients and patients, she has seen what works and what doesn't work. So we have a protocol that we follow, right? So with the harmonic egg, there's certain lights with certain things that we were supposed to do. So if you come to my harmonic egg today, and in 2 months from now you are in Sedona and you go to the one that's in Sedona, you should be able to get the same service in terms of like, this is what is going to happen. This is the formula that we follow with this, right? So everybody will have the same experience from all harmonic eggs across the world right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it is research based.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect.
So then if you do the harmonic egg, you cannot ever do the bed, or just not during that time frame?
Just during the 5 days.
Okay.
Yeah. So we have clients that want to do red light therapy. So we tell them, do the red light therapy maybe a day or two before the harmonic egg, then do the harmonic egg, and then do your next red light therapy 5 days after.
Okay.
Okay. Just because red light therapy is also energy work. Red light is a wavelength of energy. So it's too much. Your body can only handle so much. So sometimes too much is too much work, right?
Yep.
Your body can't handle it, to be honest.
Are there any like negative effects that can happen or have happened to any of your clients?
Yeah, we've had a few clients that called me and they said, I am so fucking angry. And I'm like, yeah, that's because your body needs to release all that, acknowledge it and let it go.
So it's not negative. It's not necessarily negative. It's just it's not
just
what they
like
thought they were going to have.
Exactly. So
Okay.
now I know when people are leaving, I'll let them know you might feel super angry for a day or two. Like my client called and she's like, I am going to kill my kid. Like, how is that I'm so mad at her? She hasn't done anything. And I know. And I said, that's the part. You know that it's not her, right? You just have to acknowledge that traumas get suppressed and they come up and they present themselves in different ways. It's not because it's your kid. It's not because, like you and I were talking, it's not because they left those shoes at the front door. It's not because there's a pile of dishes in the sink, because there are always a pile of dishes in the sink. It's right now that trauma is triggering something in you. Acknowledge it, release it, and let it go. That is really the only way you can let go of these traumas that have been trapped in the body. So there's a book, it's called, come on.
The body keeps score.
It's very similar to that one. It is emotional healing code. So the premises is that everything has a vibration and a frequency. Every trauma has a vibration and a frequency. And when it happens, and when I say trauma, I don't necessarily mean that somebody beat you up or that you were sexually abused or you were psychologically abused. Or I'm not talking about just that type of trauma, but any trauma that happens. Grief is trauma, right? The loss of a job is a trauma, right? Things like, there's so many different ways. Like a child in school whose friend rejects them is a trauma. So those are all vibrations. Those are all frequencies. And when they are not dealt with, at the moment that they happen, they get trapped somewhere in the body and they present themselves in one way or another at one point or another, right? So emotion code healing says that we can tap into the subconscious mind through a series of questions, find out when, where, and how that trauma happened, and release it through a magnetic energy. So everything, basically what I'm getting at is everything is vibration and frequency. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. I have a weird question.
Go for it.
Can I get it to grow my hair back? I don't know.
Maybe the red
Yeah, no,
light.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe the red light. I mean,
No. You got to try it.
No, but it sounds cool.
It's really cool. Yeah, I was very open-minded to it going into it, and you do such a really good job of explaining everything. Because I think if I would have walked in there and you were like, "Here, just sit here," I would have been like, "What am I doing?"
Yeah.
I still probably would have felt the benefits of it, but not understanding what it was doing at the time would have made it very weird. You and Steve do a great job explaining that. So when you walk in, like, you got to take your shoes off. Like, it's very clean. I mean, even like washing your hands, like it's like next level clean, which is kind of nice. So it's not one of those like just spa places where.
Yeah.
Okay, so if I go and what is it like? Like I walk in and then what happens?
So
Get a pair of socks.
Yeah.
Take the shoes off, get the socks. Okay. And then
Everybody gets a pair of socks. They're grip socks. We have epoxy floors, so they are a little slippery. And so we needed something for liability reasons. So we do the socks. But also aside from that, there's a set of doors that goes into the treatment areas. From that door forward, we don't allow shoes in, just because we have the salt room and we don't want outside dirt dragged into all the rooms and then into the salt room. Like, that salt room is self-cleaning, but not for dirt outside. Things like bacterial or viruses and stuff like that, the room self-cleans itself. So we wanted to make sure that the rooms stayed clear of outside dirt. So that's the number one thing that happens. We have a shoe cabinet, everybody's shoes go in there, and we just recently got lockers so that if you have belongings that you don't want to bring into the salt room with you, you can lock in lockers. Aside from that, you just wear comfortable clothing, something that if you sit in the salt room and you're wearing all black, you're going to be very, very dusty. So just wear light colors. We do offer 100% flax linen blankets for everyone's comfort. Did you guys know that linen has the frequency, the highest frequency in all fabrics?
No.
Okay.
I do know. I mean, I do know, like, if for changing like sleep quality, like changing linens and like the thread count and all that stuff makes a difference. But
so linen in particular sits at a frequency of 5,000 or 4,000. And organic cotton sits at about 300. Okay. So in the 1800s, they used to use linen blankets in hospitals for healing patients. We don't do that anymore. We use polyester because it has zero frequency and it gives you zero benefits right now, right? So in our treatment rooms, we use linen blankets for everyone. So we offer them that for comfort because linen is a healing blanket. Other than that, like, everything we do at Tinted Salt is to heal you from the moment you walk in until you leave. So our bathrooms, we use bamboo pulp toilet papers. I know it seems like such a weird thing to do, but we wanted non-toxic for our clients. The soap that we use is non-toxic. All of our linens get washed with truly free laundry detergent, non-toxic. We wanted to make sure that everything that we're doing is going to get you to where you need to be until you walk out those doors. And I always say, now I will release you back into the wild, because it's a wild, wild west out there. We don't offer things like plastic water bottles. We don't offer stuff like that. We do glass water bottles. So everything we did was just, we thought about it thoroughly, because I would want to only bring my kids to a place like that. So I would only want to offer that to everybody else. We created Tinted Salt as a sanctuary for those that truly wanted to heal, to come in and heal. And we are, did we talk about the biohacking stuff? We did not. Okay. So sometimes people will refer to us as a biohack clinic. We are not a biohack clinic. Biohacking is hacking the human biological system. We don't do that. We don't need to do that. We just need to reset the system, right? And it's not a one size fits all. So you come in, maybe you'll benefit from the harmonic egg, but you're not going to benefit from doing the harmonic egg and doing red light therapy. So why would you do all 4 or 5 things at the same time? You just need one thing for you. So it's not a one size fits all. Everybody is different. Everybody has different needs. So I think that's what sets us apart from a lot of holistic centers, or people refer to as holistic centers. To me, a holistic center is everything from beginning to end has to be done holistically, without any compromise.
Do you guys do any kind of like couples things where like they can come in and both do, I don't know how many pieces of equipment you guys have, but is it something where like...
So yeah, you could potentially do that. We have 2 vibroacoustic therapy beds. They're not in the same room, although people have asked us, can you put them in the same room? No, we can't. Like, they're 2 separate beds. But the salt room is where we do get a lot of couples coming in. We have 10 seats in the salt room. It is a shared room, unless you book the room completely for a private event. So you can just be you and your husband or your significant other, or it could be all the girlfriends.
Okay.
We get a lot of, we did have a lot for Mother's Day weekend. We had tons of just like single bookings of just the room. And then it was groups of 3, 5, 10 that came in. So you can definitely have that in a group, but we're not a spa service, if that's what you're asking for. We do get a lot of people calling in for that. Like, I wanted to treat my mom to a spa service. What kind of spa? It's like,
so you're healing, not spa. You're not
like
vanity.
Intentional wellness begins at Tinted Salt is our slogan, right? We are a healing center. So could it be seen as a relaxation day? Of course. Like, who wouldn't want to be relaxed for a day? Who doesn't want their nervous system reset for the day? But it's not that type of I don't think that it's that type of environment. Yeah. I mean, couples do come in for couples night all the time. We get them coming in. They do red light, they do vibro, and I'm telling you, this is like red light, vibro, salt room. And it's a 2.5 hour event, and they go and they leave great, and they go home and pick up their kids, and they're happy go lucky. Yeah.
Also say that you guys have thought about a lot of the little things. So like you add weighted blankets if you want to weight a blanket during your session. And then like even Steve gave me like a call button. So if the treatment that I was doing was too much, I could literally hit the button and they could shut it off for me because I'm like overstimulated, which is nice because you don't think about that sometimes when you think of it. Like,
no,
you know, your body's going to react a certain way. And if you freak out, or you're just overstimulated or whatever, like there needs to be a way to shut it off.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's kind of cool.
And we get a lot of kids that come in. So we always like to give them the little buzzer too. It makes them feel super special that they're being thought about, right? There's this little boy came in, he's 13, but he was like, well, what if like I don't want to do anymore? I said, then you just press the button and I'll come running in. And he's like, okay. His mom sat in the room with him, but it was just nice for him to know that he was in control, that if he didn't want to do it, he didn't have to say, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. He could just ring the buzzer and I would come in and I would stop the bed from the vibrations and then whatever. I mean, he lasted about 35 minutes out of 40 minutes. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
For a 13-year-old, that wasn't bad at all. But it's nice. Like we have thought about a lot of little things. We wanted to make sure that we didn't just like have a whole bunch of rooms and throw a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and call it a holistic healing center. Like everything that we have brought in are things that we have used that have helped us heal our family. So we wanted, when I said to Steve, I want to move to Arizona, which was something that I manifested long before I got even sick, he was like, what are we going to do there? What we're gonna do. We're gonna make this beautiful space and we're gonna heal people. And he's like, you're crazy, you know that, right? And I was like, yeah, I know, but I feel like there was a need for it. And Arizona sits on a vortex, right? You guys know that?
Well, Sedona, yeah.
Well, Arizona in general does too. So Sedona is like the center of it, but anywhere in Arizona is really just, it's incredible here. I remember flying here for the first time and the plane landed and I got out and my friend is driving and everybody passed out in the car and I was just like, okay, this is where you want me to be. Okay, I'm gonna make it happen. And I came home and I told Steve, he's like, are you insane? I was like, yeah, I want to move to Arizona. And here we are.
That's what happened.
Yeah, you just manifest it.
Just need a dream.
Yeah.
So are you seeing a lot of first responders come in?
We do, not as much as we want to. We're not insurance based. So I think that is a deterrent for a lot of people, but we're not medical in any way, and insurance would never approve us for that. But we do see a lot of first responders. We actually have a guy that he's an ex-EMS, and he has agreed to do an experiment with us. So we're hoping to be able to put that out in the next 2-3 months. It's incredible. So we would like to see more first responders, considering that's what my husband's background is. We would love that for sure.
I would definitely try it if you haven't tried it.
That sounds cool.
Yeah,
no, it's
I'm
cool.
Inviting you personally. It's an invitation.
I would love it.
That's the biggest thing is with the first responder world is they're very caught up in the traditional ways, right? And sometimes we do need to step out of that traditional and go into more of like, for lack of a better term, the woo-woo idea.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot of really good benefits in there. I mean, changing little things can really have a better impact for you in the long run than you may even realize.
Yeah, Western medicine is very reactive. Eastern medicine is proactive, right? So now we don't practice any medicine per se, but from our point of view, if we can help you get to the root cause of things, we can probably get you out of the state that you're in, and hopefully you won't need to go down the route of medicine. Not that medicine is a bad thing. There's a time and place for everything. Like I said, it's a great tool, but so is Eastern medicine. It's a great tool as well. So together, combining those two together, I think, is where the world needs to meet, right? So right now, I think Eastern medicine is closing in the gap more and more every day. More people are starting to see that, oh, maybe I have some vitamin or mineral deficiencies, right? Maybe I can get to that through epigenetic testing as opposed to getting your blood drawn. So we are seeing that gap close in. We are hoping that it's going to be a lot sooner than later because more people need these types of treatments.
Yeah, and so my dad, when I was young, was diagnosed with lupus, and he was taking gobs of medicine every day. These little cupfuls 3 times a day. And I can remember him always just being like, I hate it. I'd rather die than have to take this forever. And so I think that developed in me something of just, I don't like medicine. I will suffer in pain every day. And so I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia very young as well. And so when I go to the doctor, I'm like, oh, well, what do you take? And I'm like, I don't. I have never taken medication for it. I just am like, pain is just a very common thing for me. And so I think that's a lot of, for me, it's just there's a lot of, I don't like the side. My dad had to take medicine to deal with the effects of the other medicine. So it was just like compounding the medications all the time. And I think there's a lot of people who are finally like, well, we take all these medications to kind of Band-Aid things.
That's what it is.
And then we need medicine to Band-Aid that. And then it's like, at what point can we find the things that are going to start treating the actual problem and not just covering up a symptom?
Yeah, we need to get to the root cause of things. Mm-hmm. We also offer, I don't think we touched up on that when you were at our center. We also offer epigenetic testing. So that's hair follicle testing. We have, we've teamed up with Glow with Tanya. She is a holistic nutritionist, and she comes in and she offers epigenetic testing for our clients. So you kind of book it in advance, and she comes in and does that. And basically what epigenetic testing can do, a lot of blood work cannot see. So things like vitamin and mineral deficiencies that Western medicine, their gap is so tiny, where Eastern medicine is like a lot wider, right? Things like mold, things like parasites, all that kind of stuff. And she literally prints out, emails you this 35-page report of all the findings, and then together you sit down with her and she's like, okay, so this is where we need to kind of work on, and these are the supplements I'm recommending, and let's go down this route for 90 days and then meet again in 90 days and we will see where we're sitting at, right? So it's a lot different than getting your blood work done and be like, oh, it's your thyroids, here is the medication, off you go, right? Mm-hmm. This is like, okay, so if your thyroids are not doing great, let's see where the deficiencies are on this side of your, all the minerals and supplements that we can actually help you with, and then come back to it in 90 days and see where we sit at. And our clients are seeing amazing results with that. Like, it's incredible. Like things from like hair growth, things like parasites. They can find parasites in these, like all sorts of stuff. So that's another thing that we offer at Tinted Salt that you can't really get everywhere else.
How can people find you?
We are on all social platforms. So Instagram, Tinted Salt, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, TikTok. TintedSalt.com is our website. That's where we have all of our information. We have blogs. We have all sorts of things on there as well.
And we'll add you to our website as well
Thank you.
as a resource on the resource page. So if anybody can't find it, just go to our website and click on it, and it'll take you to your stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very cool. I'm super excited. I'm definitely going to try.
Yeah, I definitely recommend anybody at least try it once. You know, if it's not for you, it's not for you, but at least try it.
I think
You're not going to lose anything.
No, I think it's something that everybody should experiment in terms of energy work, because energy work, it's like what was that saying, Nikola Tesla? If we can unlock the secret, if we can understand energy, we can unlock the secrets of the universe, right? So everything is energy. You know, you walk into a room and you're like, oof, that person, or like, oh, she's the best, I love her already. It's that energy that people emit, right? So we have this 6-foot diameter aura around us, right, that emits energy. And sometimes things get blocked up, and sometimes we emit bad energy, and sometimes we emit good energy. So if people can understand that, then energy work is probably where it's at right now. And the world is shifting, right? The world is like, this is the Great Awakening. People keep saying it. This is the Great Awakening. It is the Great Awakening, because people are waking up to the truth. And the truth is that Western medicine isn't the end all be all. Right. I mean, it's a great tool that we have. We should be grateful that we have all of this, but also there's other things that we can help people achieve their goals with.
I like it. I think it's a good point.
Yeah. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Well,
I really appreciate
I'm glad you came on. I think it's a great story. I think
Thank you.
We'll definitely have to check in with you again to see how it's going.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. I really
All right.
appreciate having you guys.